Hi, I'm Bobo. In this week's recap, since the Federal Reserve announced last week that it would resume raising rates by 0.25%, banks in Hong Kong followed suit, raising their prime lending rates by 0.125% to 0.375% to the latest 5.875% to 6.375%, with mortgage rates hitting a 15-year high. Under these successive rate hikes, home prices have taken a tumble. In fact, the Rating and Valuation Department announced that the Private Residential Property Price Index for June dropped 0.54% month-on-month to 349 points, dragging down home prices in the first half of the year. However, it is worth noting that this is the best half-yearly performance we've seen so far since the first half of 2019. Though the first half of the year did increase in home prices and transactions, more homeowners with shorter holding periods have been rushing to sell before home prices fall again. As a result, there's been 1,967 resale cases that ended in losses, accounting for nearly 15% of all transactions in 6 months. This is the highest amount of loss-making transactions in a 6-month period since the introduction of cooling measures in 2010. Now it's all eyes on the Fed. Will there be another interest rate hike in September? Buyers will just have to wait and see. So in the meantime, let's turn to weekend transactions. The number of weekend secondhand property viewings plummeted by over 10%. Meanwhile, things looked bleak for the city's top 10 blue-chip housing estates as Hong Kong's 4 biggest real estate agencies recorded only 2 to 4 weekend transactions. Many secondhand owners in particular had to reduce home prices or even sell at a loss. Here are 4 such cases in the last week. Our first case is at South Horizons in Chau. This was a lower floor 3-bedroom apartment in Block 20, measuring 618 square feet in size. It had been on the market for about a year and was eventually sold for 8.8 million Hong Kong dollars after the owner reduced the price by $2.7 million at 14,200 Hong Kong dollars per square foot. But despite the price reduction, the owner profited nonetheless. They bought the flat in August of 2010 for $4.65 million, subsequently making a profit of $4.15 million. That's 89% in appreciation. Next, expensive flats are about to get even more expensive. This second case comes from the traditional luxury residential development Braemar Hill Mansions in North Point. The unit sold was a 1,090 square foot flat on the lower floors of Block 7 with a mountain view offering 3 bedrooms and a helper's room. With an original asking price of 23 million Hong Kong dollars, the owner reduced it by $4.7 million and it eventually sold for $18.3 million at 16,700 Hong Kong dollars with a car parking space at a price similar to that of homes 8 years ago. In recent years, the price per square foot of Braemar Hill units has rarely fallen below 18,000 Hong Kong dollars. Now going back to our case, the owner made a huge profit of around 14 million Hong Kong dollars. They had bought the unit in April of 1992 for 4.28 million Hong Kong dollars and held the flat for 31 years, indicating a 3.28 time rise in value over the period. Our third case is in the Kowloon area. This was at the semi-new development Grand Central in Kwun, Tong. The developer here did a couple of things to attract remaining buyers, such as reducing home prices and offering free car parking spaces. So the unit sold was in Block 5, a lower floor 3-bedroom apartment with storage room, measuring 803 square feet in size. The original owner had purchased the flat for investment and was renting it out. They put the flat up for sale at 14 million Hong Kong dollars last month and then reduced the price to 12.8 million Hong Kong dollars. The buyers negotiated for nearly 2 weeks but eventually bought the home for $12.4 million at 15,400 Hong Kong dollars on the night of the US interest rate hike. The original landlord had purchased the flat in 2019 for around 13.4 million Hong Kong dollars and held it for 4 years, losing over 1 million Hong Kong dollars in profits. This marks a depreciation of nearly 8%. Our final case is in the New Territories, which suffered large losses. At the Horizon in Shek, an upper floor unit in Court C's Tower 1 was put up for sale at 11 million Hong Kong dollars. The 3-bedroom flat measured 789 square feet in size and came with 1 parking space. It was finally sold for 10.95 million Hong Kong dollars at 13,800 Hong Kong dollars per square foot. The original owner bought the unit in early 2019 for 12.77 million Hong Kong dollars and a car parking space for around 2.5 million dollars, amounting to a total of 15.26 million dollars. They held the property for over 4 years and left the market with a loss of around $4.3 million, indicating a nearly 28% drop in depreciation. While secondhand trading is quiet, we're seeing quite the rental market boom. And because of limited supply, coupled with rising demand, some large secondhand developments have raised prices on their rental units. In Block 6 of the Hermitage at Olympic City, one homeowner rented out their 300 square foot studio apartment for 20,000 Hong Kong dollars a month at 67 Hong Kong dollars per square foot to mainlanders on the Top Talent Pass scheme. This is a record high in monthly rent for similar housing estates, and on top of that, the rent per square foot set a record high in the history of Hong Kong's housing estates. As for new developments, amid rising interest rates, developers will have to keep reducing home prices to attract buyers. We can see this from the example of Henderson Land, which just launched its first batch of 56 units for its Baker Circle Greenwich development. After deducting the maximum 10% discount, the project's average price per square foot of 18,928 Hong Kong dollars is nearly 11% lower than that of its Phase 2 development, standing at around 21,000 Hong Kong dollars per square foot in discounted average price. Units start at 3.68 million Hong Kong dollars, the lowest entry price in the area. The project will be ready for sale starting in August at the earliest. As for CK Assets The Coastline in Yau Tong, the developer said last week that they would offer buyers of 3-bedroom units up to 90% in loan-to-value on their first mortgage, so just a 10% down payment. On top of that, they added a 3-year low-interest fixed-rate promotional offer, 1% per annum for the first year, 2% for the second year, and 3% for the third, without being required to do a stress test or provide proof of income. And the interest rate here is much lower than that of current mortgage plans. Will these incentives offset the effects of the interest rate hike? We'll have to keep a close eye on this case when prices open this week at the earliest. Over the weekend, no new developments went on sale. Only about 10 transactions of first-hand remaining flats were recorded, some of them being large transactions. Developed by Wheelock and Sinoland, a 4-room apartment in Grand Victoria in southwest Kowloon was sold for 44.8 million Hong Kong dollars at 31,200 Hong Kong dollars per square foot. Some real estate agents say that the number of flats in the second quarter of this year is the highest it's been since 2003. With more than 19,000 new units, the proportion of new flats sold rose to over 15% again. This suggests that while developers have been actively promoting new developments, sales have been slowing down, resulting in a backlog of first-hand homes. If sales don't pick up, the backlog in the third quarter is expected to rise to 20,000 unsold flats. To prevent this, the government will have to introduce more favorable measures to help the property market bounce back. That's all for this episode. See you in the next.